Right. Full circle. Let's bring it back to Marvel. So, I said that multiverse writing is lazy because it gives you get out of jail free cards that basically mean that any big thing that happens has no consequence. Yes?
I can agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, case in point, our next story. AJ, who are the two most popular characters in the MCU?
MCU or Marvel?
MCU.
Oh, Cap and Iron Man.
Cool. Who died?
Iron Man.
No, he didn't. You see the problem? Robert Downey Jr. reportedly agrees to Iron Man return in the MCU. Here's the effery. Here we go with some shibhousery and some flubbery. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has been fractured by the arrival of the multiverse, both on and off screen. Since Avengers Endgame, the franchise seems to have struggled to meet the expectations of fans, which were at an all-time high at the conclusion of the Infinity Saga. Now a new rumor has suggested one of their greatest lost assets could be about to make a comeback in the form of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. There is not a day passes without outlandish rumors appearing online about what could be happening next in the biggest movie franchise in the world and also ever. This includes the introduction of obscure characters, new crossovers, and the ever-elusive Fantastic Four casting confirmation. Yeah. While it is hard to differentiate the truth about the flight to fancy, there are occasionally rumors that seem to connect with more official reports, and this is the case with the new suggestion that Robert Downey Jr. is heading back to the MCU as Iron Man. Internet scooper and friend of the Silver Screen Dudes, My Time to Shine Hello, shared a post on X claiming that Downey Jr. has already signed up to return to the MCU for a new project. While it does not give any further details on whether this will be as a variant of Iron Man, because here we go. Oh, the Iron Man from this universe is dead, but this other universe, he's alive. So bring the same actor in. Details of whether this will be a variant of Iron Man or his original character in a story that takes place in a branched multiverse reality. The claim comes hot on the heels of a detailed report by Variety suggesting a return for the original Avengers team. And My Time to Shine Hello already has the screenshot here. RDJ already agreed to come back. So now the question, will the original Avengers return to the MCU? See, they asked that question, the original Avengers, but we don't exactly have a new Avengers. Who are the Avengers now? There is no Avengers. It is not a thing anymore. Last week, Variety published a report detailing the current predicament at Marvel Studios, from overworked visual effects artists to declining box office results. The woes of the MCU are currently many, but they are a long way from being seen as a failure. This is a fact. For all of the bashing we do on the MCU, AJ, there's no doubt that any movie in the world would give its left testicle to make half of the money that the MCU movies still make. However, with the Marvels tracking as one of the lowest earning movies of the entire franchise, but is it going to be Blue Beetle bad? It is clear that many believing something is just not working in the superhero franchise. In Variety's report, it was suggested the talks had been held with a view to bringing back the Avengers team. Nope. That changed the world of superhero movies back in 2012. The report said, sources say there have been talks to bring back the original gang for an Avengers movie. This would include reviving Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, both of whom were killed off in Endgame. That shouldn't be a stumbling block. In comic books, beloved characters are often killed off only to be resurrected thanks to the power of things like the multiverse. Ugh. Of course, all of this amounts to nothing until it is made official by Marvel Studios and should be taken with a pinch of salt. However, as pointed out by Variety's report, the world of comic books is constantly retconning its own timelines, no kidding, and character stories, and there is no reason why this could not be done within the MCU. After all, Warner Bros. Have been doing it for years with the continual reboots of Batman. Yeah, bad example, and we all know why. Come on. For now, Marvel fans that are still interested in the franchise as it is can look forward to the release of the Marvels this Friday. You can check out the trailer for Captain Marvel's return on the Silver Screen Dudes YouTube channel if you're watching this as an individual video. or indeed earlier on in the show. It's in the timestamps below. Now tell me you like the multiverse.
You see, between Endgame giving me Gamora dying and then Gamora past being Gamora, and I'm still not going back for Natasha Romanoff is something I've not understood. But I've also followed the CW with The Flash, who was forever running through different time zones. And what would happen is you bring someone from another dimension, they do something, they don't recognize you because it's not that, and then they vanish. And this is what I'm guessing. Is it that we're going to have secret wars? And in order to have the secret wars and everyone in there, they're going to be like, we're going to have Tony, we're going to have Peter Parker running up to him to give him a hug. And it's going to be like, Mr. Stark. And it's like, who are you, kid? And then it's going to be like, oh, yeah, I've done the mind thing. No one remembers me. No, actually, the Tony you know is dead. And he's going to come. He's going to save the day. But then he's going to walk right back through that portal because my world still needs Iron Man. There you go, guys. Spoiler, not prediction. It's sad because here's the thing. I said it from the time. It's been a long discussion that I didn't believe there was anything left for Marvel after Endgame. And Marvel are clutching at straws. And what they're now doing is trying to live off the glory days. Now, if you are going to evolve, it's time to evolve. And I feel the more you keep leaning back into your previous stars, the more you're not allowing the product to grow into what it has to be. You know, in order to do it, you need to build your next star. And if you are going to just continuously have your Iron Mans come back and let's de-age Steve Rogers one more time, you know, let's bring him back in his heyday just before he went into the portal. Let's make him the young Steve again, not the old man. And who cares about Falcon being it? Because you know what, we need Steve as well, because everything now is going to diminish. We've got Ironheart, who's out there. Not to say she's the heir apparent to Iron Man, but she's out there. It's a fact. Move on. Respectfully move on. Do I have any beef with Robert Downey Jr.? Hell no. I was Team Iron Man when it came to Civil. No, not Team Cap. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What
You
I'm
were
getting
Team
down to,
Cap. Don't even try that
Cap.
with me.
Yeah. I thought I was going to be Team Iron Man. By the time the story came out, I was like, yeah, I'm Team Cap. That's yeah. But irrelevant. What I'm getting at is, yes, it was a heartbreaking moment, and this is the problem. Don't kill that moment. I love you 3000. The lexicon of all of that emotion that the world has felt, just to be like, oh, by the way, he's back, and we can call back another version of him at any time, doesn't do it. You know, if we are going to do it, maybe play the same game the movie Flash done and give us, you know, Michael Keaton, George Clooney. Let's play the game everyone said. Tom Cruise finally becomes it. Hell, bring in Johnny Depp if you need to. Do what you need to do, but don't bring back Don't bring back the exact same guy as a variant. It's just not going to work. We've seen multiple faces of the same variant in there in the form of Kang. Spider-Man, we've seen that you can look different but be the same person. Do that. Don't ride the coattails of the previous Avengers. It's not going to help you because people are just going to be unstuck. We have to move on. You need to move on.
You've actually said that pretty well. You've not left much for me to say here. Listen, I hate everything about this. Not for the same reasons as you, not because of RDJ, but because it would just sour what was a great moment. There's no way to bring him back that isn't going to ruin that I am Iron Man death moment. It's irredeemable if you bring him back. You will forever have ruined that moment. You can pretend it's not like a Toy Story 4 where you can just pretend it doesn't exist or like ignore the Daniel Craig Bonds if you don't like them and just focus on the other ones. Nah. You can't ignore this. The only thing you said that is not incorrect, but I think it lacked a bit of nuance, which I guess I'll attempt to add, is when I remember you saying very clearly in the build up to Endgame, it's like they should. Well, where do they go after that? There's nothing more to do. And I've forever, along with Big Tone, I believe, stood on that hill and been like, there's so much they can do. The problem, well, there was a number of problems. The problem was that I believe they picked heroes that were too obscure. They went full geek. You know, they went too geek with it Instead of, I think instead of giving people like Loki these horrible seasons, they should have just had a Loki movie. Instead of giving, Falcon and the Winter Soldier a half-assed series, tighten it up, make it tighter, do, the new Captain America, do, Captain America Serpent Society, do that as a movie. All of these. WandaVision should have been a series. That was the one where I'm like, that was good. Moon Knight should have been a movie. All of these people you've put onto Disney Plus were deserving of actual movies based on the stories you told me, but you dragged them out over long episodes and they ended up feeling empty. It's if you trimmed the fat off of those episodes and made them movies, you would actually, I think, be in a place now where you've got some pretty substantially good, well-established players in the MCU. She-Hulk, you could have made into a movie, although that needed some serious love because that sucked. Miss Marvel, that should have been a movie. That was also a good series, though. I like Miss Marvel. I'm one of the few who do like it. And, the movies you picked, highest of respect to Shang-Chi, world's biggest backup dancer. Could not care less about him. The Black Widow movie came at the wrong time. So all of these movies that they decided to make into movies, Shang-Chi should have been a freaking series, if anything. Make it smaller budget, take more time to get to know the character. But these established characters, keep them on the big screen. Don't diminish them by putting them on TV. It doesn't matter how much people can look at something like The Mandalorian or Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, whatever, and be like, oh, this looks cinematic now. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It looks like really, really, really amazing high-budget TV. Cinematic is cinematic. End of. You cannot make TV look cinematic. And if they're trying to, good luck to them. They certainly haven't done it yet, in my opinion. So, and people genuinely have that built-in reference to TV. It's like TV means lower budget. Deny that? Look at what happened with Pixar. Bob Chapek put all of Pixar onto Disney Plus. No one watched them. Turning Red is literally available for people to watch. No one has watched it. Luca took me 9 months to watch when you and Louis, when we did the Italian movies, had watched it before me. And I'm a Pixar nut, right? Putting something readily available diminishes its importance and dilutes the product. Big characters should have stayed on the big screen. Newer characters, introduced them in the series. With the exception of a few like Moon Knight, who should have been big screen, in my opinion, because he's a bigger story to tell. And also, you got to remember, there's a lot of stories to tell here. They just went about it the wrong way. And that bum clown Bob Chapek decided to just do 10 projects a year instead of the usual 2 on a big year where there was a crossover movie, 3.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think one of the biggest problems was it was Phase 4 was closing chapters that necessarily didn't need closing. We could have just left it. And you should have, because we're still relying on other people. We're like the Guardians were unknown, and they became a force to be reckoned with by the time.
And they were the best part of Phase 4.
But so, like, Shang-Chi could be a movie, but give me someone recognizable. Like, I get that you're holding off on the X-Men and stuff like that, but give us more recognizable names so then people would care more about it. Because having Eternals, Shang-Chi,
I like the Eternals.
It's not to say we don't like them, but it's what the attraction was for the cinema goer, for the Marvel arc. That's what I feel is missing, and it just has it in a very awkward place. You needed to bring more.
Eternals could have been a really good series, actually.
It would have been. I think it would have been a better series than it was a film, just because you could expand on each character that bit more.
Yeah.
Which with each character you had, it would have worked. But hey, we're at where we're at. Just don't bring back RDJ, guys. It's not the right thing. No disrespect, Rob.
Horrible.
Just it's not that.
Don't do it. No variant, no appearance. No, if you want to bring him back in a flashback and very much make it clear that this isn't before the snap, fine. That possible as a bit of, happy fan service, like, a little wink. That's fine. And bringing back the old Avengers, hell no.